Hey everybody, Kelly Engineering here, and welcome to episode 50 of Journey Across the Void. In between episodes, I have been very busy doing a lot of base alterations, a lot of base improvements. Right now, I'm trying to get a lot of this essence right behind me, right above my head, because I want to finish Mystical Agriculture. In order to do that, though, I need to make the watering cans, and those require these Inferium fertilization cores. The Inferium fertilization cores require fertilized essence, and the only way to get that is to harvest Mystical Agriculture crops. Now, I've had Mystical Agriculture crops growing for quite a while, but the thing is they've always been inside crop sticks because I 10-10-10 them. These ones are not in crop sticks, instead they're just randomly planted, and because of that, oh wow, I need to clear out these seeds. And because they're not on crop sticks, whenever they get harvested, they have a 5% chance of getting me the fertilized essence I need to complete these quests. And really what I'm going to do with this coal essence is I'm going to throw it away. I have no need for coal essence. It was just the simplest seed that I could create at the time. So that is why I made it. But I'm not sure if 427 is going to be enough for my needs. Let's see what other uses it has. Alright, it is just the fertilization core, so I have more than enough of this essence, so I can turn off this machine now. I'm going to clean it up, but in the meantime, we're going to go over what else I did. The second thing that I did was I cleared out my auto crafting room. There's now nothing inside it, and it is no longer hooked at all to the main system up above. What I'm going to be doing is we're going to transfer the auto crafting room to the network room, and across this wall, all of those machines are going to be placed. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough room, but they're all in this chest, and that's going to be something I do in episode 51. That is not the purpose of this episode. But yeah, here's all the patterns that I have. So yeah, I have set that up. I have moved my portals over here. And now we're going to go into this area. So this is my ore smelting area. Apologies for the lag, I do have a lot of machines going. But if you look at my network tool, I'm going to enable the facades. What I've done over here to these ME interfaces is I have changed, let's get a little bit closer. I have changed the priority of the ME interface to -1, and the ME storage bus is also -1. The reason why I did this is because I want everything that is in this room to be the only thing that hits these storage cells. What was happening before was anything that I placed into my ME system, it was seeing this as a standard area where it could go, and I almost completely filled up my ME drives with a bunch of random nonsense. So in order to fix that problem, what we did, go into the main disk, is we did the same thing over here, only looking at the ME interface. I now have priority 100 on the storage bus and the ME interface. So now random stuff that I tried to put into the system will automatically go here because it is the higher priority. And I have tested this plenty of times with a whole myriad of items, and it is working perfectly. However, let's patch this hole real quick. One of the main problems would be the stuff that is inside my void miner room, and that is leading me to the last thing that we have done in this in-between episodes is, come on, void miner room, here we go. Everything is now a tier 6 void miner. All of them have 8 speed upgrades in them, and it is absolutely insane the amount of stuff that I am getting. So what I was going over before is, say, soul sand. If I tried to insert soul sand into the ME system, it was going into the main disk, and I didn't want that because I have a black hole unit specifically for soul sand. This one right here. So what I did for that is, because there's no external storage, there are no storage cells hooked up to this, I felt it was alright to change this to priority 101. So now anything that is linked to this ME system, either with these black hole units or these black hole units, then it will always go in there and it will ignore the one in the main disk. And once again, I have tested that with pretty much everything that can go in here, and it works exactly as intended. Nothing hits the ME system in the disk. So yeah, that is everything that I did in between episodes. We're going to maintain most of this episode on this floor because we're going to turn this into a room that's going to process every single one of the ores that are over here. All of the ores that I have been getting, which it's a lot of ore. It's definitely a lot of ore. So yeah, we're going to be turning all of this ore into ingots, and we are going to be storing them for later use. Mainly so that I can get a lot of draconium, because draconium is the next mod that I want to go into a deep dive in. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so making these watering cans is getting a little tedious, because I just had to make some water seeds, and making the water seeds, well, that's whatever, but it's the last piece I need in order to make those watering cans, and then the rest for the armor and tools I'll figure out another way. But for right now, this will have to do. 48, I think 48 is actually enough, so I'm going to get rid of these. I have repurposed this entire area for lapis, because I realized something in between episodes why I'm, not getting as much lapis as I was used to, or as I thought I should be getting, and that is because one of the updates I did to the pack removed lapis from the sieving outputs. Instead, I'm getting these lapis fragments, and these lapis fragments turn into the lapis themselves. So, yeah, I'm not very happy about that, because every time I needed to make anything for environmental tech, it required lapis. And by the end of this episode, hopefully that problem will be solved completely, but for now, I have lapis seeds going here in crop sticks, and they're all 10, 10, 10. I got it from my actually additions area, so let's activate this and see whether or not it's going to go. It is, but it's harvesting the crop sticks along with it. Oh boy. Alright, I was afraid that this would happen, and I'm probably just going to have to keep resorting to the plant gatherer in order for this to work. Let's turn you off for now. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to resort to the plant gatherer in order for this to work, and that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to refresh my memory on whether or not this would work. Anyway, so the watering cans, the fertilization cores, all of the watering cans require this theoretical infinite water source, and that requires water essence and some base essence ingots. I'm going to need 6 of them. One thing that I don't like about this quest is each previous tier of the watering can doesn't require, or each tier of the watering can doesn't require the previous tier. So why have me make all of them in the first place, when I could have just made the Insanium water can to prove that I'm capable of doing it. Oh, and I completely forgot about the ingots. I have to craft those up too. Alright, there we go. We are ready to craft all of these. And this quest is now complete. Awesome. There we go. Let's go back to the mystical agriculture. Awesome. We have a whole bunch of quests completed. And, oh man, it's just a standard reward for the Supremium stuff? Oh, it's a better reward for the Insanium. And I got an Intermedium Furnace. Oh, some reward. Alright, we're going to worry about the armor a little bit later. I need to get working on what I was going to do in this episode, which is making sure that my factory area in the Void Miners is complete. We're going to be using a combination of mechanism and industrial craft in order to make this happen. I should be getting into immersive engineering sometime, and quite frankly, my opportunities to be using immersive engineering are dwindling very fast. I should have been using this for early game stuff. But at the very least, the cloches will help me a little bit later on down the line. The rest of machines, I'm probably just going to assemble all of the piece parts for it and then call the quest good. I'm not going to bother assembling any immersive engineering stuff. So I'm going through and cataloging all of the ores and figuring out what the best way in order to break them down and get the ingots for. And I have run into 2 different problems. The first one being the only thing that will go into the chemical injection chamber is iron. So yeah, that's definitely a problem. Going through all 8 of these pages, it's just variants of iron ore. I was hoping that I was going to be able to put gold and diamond and emerald through it, or at the very least like copper, tin, all of the thermal ores, and that does not look to be the case. So I'm going to have to work my way once again down. And looking here, there are 5 different ways that I could do this. The chemical dissolution chamber will get me 5 ingots. But looking at the recipes for the chemical dissolution chamber, this looks to be the way that they want me to go. They want me to ore quintuple instead of ore quadruple. I do not want to go down that route, because setting up all of those chemical infusers and hooking up all of the oxygen and the hydrogen and the salt necessary, the chloride. Oh, I didn't even think about the chloride. Yeah, that is just It's way too much and I do not have a lot of room. I want to keep it contained to this floor. So yeah, we're looking for another solution, and I may have to settle for ore tripling instead. So using the chemical injection chamber will... Oh, sorry, that's the ore quad. It's not the enrichment. There it is, the purification. I'm sorry about that. That's in the wrong order. It goes 5, 3, 4. But the purification chamber gives me the best chances to pretty much do everything. And looking at the recipes for the purification chamber, it's not just the ores that are in here. Stuff like lapis is also one of the recipes. Or at least I thought it was. I am mistaken on that. What was the one that I selected for lapis? Here it is, enrichment. So I'm going to be using enrichment chambers for stuff like lapis and coal and redstone. Oh, pardon me, my notebook fell. And yeah, stuff like iron and coal and copper, I will instead be using the purification chamber on. So I'm going to have to settle for ore tripling instead. The second problem I ran into is with the nuclear craft ores. The nuclear craft ores have no mechanism or industrial craft solutions that I can use. I'm either going to be using thermal in order to triple it up, and don't get me wrong, the induction smelter is all well and good, but I would have to start making a lot of rich slag. Oh, never mind, okay. So I could use sand and have double instead, but whatever. And my cinnabar supplies, looking over here at cinnabar, I have no use for because I don't need quicksilver, and this is the Thaumcraft cinnabar ore. And then the best I could do in order to get the cinnabar... Where are you, my friend? Here we are. Yeah, the best that I can do is throwing in destabilized redstone ore into a pulverizer, but I have plans for that as well, so I can't get the cinnabar that way, and that is my best chance of getting it. So, yeah, nuclear craft, I'm probably going to have to hook up another separate area just for the nuclear craft ores, because that's going to require me to get into the manufactory or the melter if I want to use that. And honestly, that suits me just fine, especially for lithium. I need to have it melted down anyway in order to power my fusion reactor. So yeah, those are just problems that I've run into. Just a quick status update. I'm going to go finish cataloging all of these and then making all of the requisite machines I'm going to need for each of these. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. I have moved all of the ores that were in here before over to the other section where the machines are going to be, and instead I have a whole bunch of ingots here. I have not done anything with the nuclear craft ores yet. I'm still trying to figure out a solution for it. And then these three, like I said before, I don't care about quicksilver. And then rock crystals and dimensional shard ore cannot be automated. They have to be physically broken with a pickaxe or automated like an automated user or a right clicker of some sort. They can't go into a machine like the rest of these can. So, yeah, these are going to stay here for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this ender chest, which is my red, white, and that will continue to feed into this system. However, over here, I'm also going to have another red, white, and it is going to feed into all of these. So along this wall, I have every single ore that was over on the other wall. Then on the back side, they're going to be hooked into the machines over here. But yeah, it's going to take an individual machine for most of these, but when it comes to stuff like the iron and the gold, then I'm going to have a lot more machine real estate, but the rest of them are pretty much going to become enrichment chambers. Going through and cataloging all of these enrichment chambers really seems to be the way to go. With the stuff like draconium, can't really go into a mechanism machine. It can go into... Oh, never mind. I can't go into the enrichment chamber. Well, then I need to update my I need to update my little spreadsheet. But yeah, so the stuff with the enrichment chamber is going to ore double the stuff, and then I need to throw it into a furnace, and there's also a mechanism furnace that I'm going to be using. So, looking at the quests for stuff, I already have elite enriching factories, 64 of them made, and they're going to be the enriching factories that I use for the stuff that requires it. And then I'm going to be having smelting factories going on to handle all of those outputs. It's going to look a little weird, and this is going to become a very busy room very quickly. because I'll also be using the mechanism transport pipes in order to do it. So these logistical transporters right here, I'm going to, of course, have the ultimate logistical transporter attached to everything feeding into the machines. And then once all of the outputs have been finished, they're going to go into another ender chest that is going to feed over here where all of the ingots will go. So I will have, at this point, for some of these, 3 different locations where I'll be storing a whole bunch of materials. So yeah, iron ingots this is just going to be the 3rd place where I'm going to be storing iron. The first being my ore processing room, and the second being the Ender IO room. And then I have these 3 over here. In the ore processing room, or the sieving processing room, I guess I should rename it, I'm going to be getting clathrates from the resonant ender, the energized glowstone, and the resonant ender. So, what are... destabilized redstone. So yeah, the destabilized redstone, energized glowstone, and the resonant ender, all of the clathrates are already being stowed in the sieving processing room, so I'm not really worried about stowing clathrates here as well. So what we're going to do is, the clathrates I'll be generating over here are going to immediately be turned into a liquid via a thermal magma crucible. And then that fluid will flow all the way over and be stowed on the other wall. I've already put in a fluid terminal over here, so I can just view it and I can use it if I need to. I doubt I'm going to need to use it. However, I came to the conclusion I have not been stowing enough liquids during this pack, so we're going to be stowing liquids now. So I'm almost done hooking up all of the mechanism machines, and I still have the thermal stuff that I need to throw in there, and that's fine. What I wanted to go over, though, was the use of the logistical transporters and the configurator. I have it in item mode right now, which means I have a couple of different functions that I can go through whenever I'm using the logistical transporters. So I'm going to zoom in on here, and you'll see that whenever I am hovered over, I guess it's not a very good picture of it. But when you're using the logistical transporters and you're holding the configurator, you have different portions that you can look at. You can look at this cube area in the center, or you can look at these 2 rectangular prisms that are on the top, bottom, or sides, and all of that takes up a 1 block space. So you see that I have these transporters connected right now, but if I shift right click the cube portion of it, then I am changing its color. And I want it to be in, oh, I just passed the dark aqua color that I wanted. There it is. So now that it is dark aqua, it has disconnected from this pipe. And this is how you disconnect the pipes from each other, by using the configurator. So I just changed it to dark aqua again. If I change it off of something other than dark aqua, so right now it's blue, you'll see it's not connected to anything. You have to have all of the colors proper. If it wasn't colored anything, then it could connect to whatever it wanted. So colorless is exactly that. It is colorless and can connect to anything. However, if I was going to shift right click the rectangular prism portion of this, then I'm going to change how the pipe behaves. So right now I just changed the connection type to push. I can right click it again, now it's pull, and now it's gone. Now if I wanted to get that portion back, I can't go to the top because that is not part of the block shape that I described earlier. So you need to make sure that in order to get that connection back, I need to go to the top of this one and then shift right click again in order for it to recognize. But I am going through and connecting all of these because the way that I'm going to have it go is much like this. So these are already done and ready to go. The only thing I need to do is, like I said, shift right click on the rectangular prism portion of the transporter, and I can change it to push or pull, and the pulling will take stuff out of this output and put it into this smelting factory. Now I don't have to, actually, you know what? Why don't we just activate and I'll show you it. So, oh, wrong side. There we go. All right, so I have items going into this enriching factory right now, all of this nickel ore. And this nickel ore, once it completes, and oh, I'm going to have to craft all of these speed upgrades. You see that all of this stuff is leaving now and going into the smelting factory where it's doing its job exactly how it should be. I did not need to tell this pipe in this particular instance that it needs to be a push. And you see that when I change it to a push, it Yep, it did not affect anything. So here we go. That is how it works. I can have it in push or pull, or I don't even need it configured at all because it recognizes, ooh, I just messed up. All right, I need to change that back to an output. There we go, or input rather. And bam, I have my smelting factories working the way that I want them to be working. Now, in the case of making sure that all of the machines were in the configuration I wanted, so these side configs are something that can be saved. So I wanted this to input from the top and output from the left side. That is what this configuration card is for. All you have to do is shift right click a machine and it will retrieve the configuration data and you can transfer it to any machine that you want. This has a little bit of a loopy, yeah, it's if you already had a pipe connected to it, or I guess not connected, let's see. I will remove this pipe and I'm going to use the configurator to turn this side off. So now the pipe will not connect. There it is. All right, so now it is on none, which means nothing is connecting. If I paste the configuration data, then I just changed the configuration data to now this is an output. But this cable did not output to it, so all I have to do is just remove it, place it again, change its color to the proper color, and it will start working as intended. So yeah, if you already had pipes connected when you pasted a configuration, then it won't go. However, because I have the configuration for the enriching factory, if I went up to the smelting factory and tried to paste that data, you'll see that unequal configuration data formats. It recognizes that I took the configuration from a certain machine and will not let me transfer it to another machine. I would have to take the configuration data of the smelting factory and paste it all over. But that's no problem. It's much easier than individually placing a machine, going into its side configs, changing everything. So yeah, the configuration cards are definitely where it's at. So I'm just about done setting all of these to export, and yep, oh, we missed a couple right here. So the ones that are connected to these machines, these enriching factories are for lapis and diamonds and emeralds and stuff. So they don't have another machine up here at the top. Wow, that looks amazing. All right, it's also probably going to be a lag factory as well. So, and yep, that is everything. Let's see how our ender chest is coping. Oh, it's coping just fine. Unfortunately, I have nether quartz here and could swear I set up another quartz area. Let's head on over here. Nether quartz is supposed to be... Oh no, what did I miss? What did I mess up? Nether quartz was right here originally. Okay, so apparently I messed up and I need to put another black hole unit right here, specifically for quartz. How did that happen? Oh well, it doesn't really matter. It's no problem to set one up, so just got to get that black hole unit. And I am ready to, just about ready to close out this episode. There's still some things that I have to do, like the magma crucibles are not hooked up because I need to make different types of transporters in order to enable that. So yeah, I'm still figuring out how I'm gonna do that. Let's hear storage bus. And I definitely made more logistical transporters than I needed, but that's fine. I'm sure I'll find a use for them a little bit later down the line. And let's get some quartz just so we can prime this thing so nothing crazy goes in. Nether quartz, lock. Storage bus. Here we go. Alright, so now the nether quartz has no problem going through. And look at that, we have a working system. I was worried at first that it wasn't going to be able to handle all of the crazy input of items, and I'm kind of correct in that aspect. I have every single one of my void ore miners turned off right now, so yeah, nothing is going into the system. If I turn on the void ore miners though, I'm only going to turn on 4 of them just to showcase this to you. 4. You see that a lot of stuff, it's not traveling as quickly into the black hole units on the processing side as it was when I was using the Fluix cables, and that's because the Fluix cables will just allow all items to pass through at all times. The transporters apparently do not allow that, so I may need to find a different type of transport pipe from my ore miner ender chest into the processing side of the house. Also, I'm kind of glad that I didn't go the ore quadrupling, or tripling, quadrupling, or quintupling route, because that means I have a lot more room on this floor. I can condense this wall in, and I can afford to put in, let's see here, 4 more void miners. I guess 8 more void miners, and those are going to be the botanic miners because I wanted to set those up. I was just worried about the lack of space when I had processing in. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be making some void botanic miners and hooking up the magma crucibles in between episodes. But I am Kelly Engineering, and I hope that you did enjoy this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.